roll call. So if everyone can say their name and where they're coming from. I'll start because Howie is whining. I'm Regina Gorham, and I am at my home in Kalamazoo. And then I'll Catherine, if you could go next.
Catherine White at my home in Kalamazoo.
And
I'm Fred Edison at my home in Kalamazoo.
Renee Powell Wilson at my home in Kalamazoo.
Kyle Hibbert at my home in Kalamazoo.
All right. Are we missing? Oh no, we've got intro of guest down below. Sorry, I was just thinking that it was earlier than it was. Approval of agenda. Sharon, the only thing, do we want to specifically call out the request from David Brose?
You reimbursed for the,
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether we should do that through the city, maybe set it up to Jeff Chamberlain or for us,
Okay.
because it's a city project. So I'm gonna put it on my notes
Yeah.
to check that.
Sorry, David Brose asked about about something on the project with the mound sign. So related to Reservation Public Education Committee.
Regina,
Yeah.
can you give us a little bit more information? Was this something that was negotiated between he and someone else in terms of his, I assume it's an invoice?
It's from MLive for image.
Yeah,
So
to use an image they have of an Indian mound up in the Grand Rapids area that they want to use on the signs that will be the interpretive signs. And so it just seemed really complex for him to do it by saying, oh, you have to bill so-and-so or so-and-so. And so he just paid for it. And he would either like to get reimbursed or have it be considered a donation. And the donation is possible, but the city is kind of, well, you know what it's like to get a deduction for a donation to a city project. So, yeah. So I will inquire with Jeff and find out what we should do about it. And
Okay.
then we'll just take it from there.
okay.
How much
I don't
was
think
it?
it was like $150,
It was, I think, 100. Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
You got a
Yeah.
deal.
I mean, can't we take it out of our fund?
Well, we could, but if the city won't reimburse him, I would like to reimburse him from our fund. You know, so it depends on, you know, whether, because it's their project. They're the ones who are helping to finance a lot of this. So it seems like it could easily be a budget item for them for this project.
Oh, it's not specific to the preservation.
It is, but it's specifically for the project at the Indian Mound in the park. To use a photograph on the interpretive signs.
Yeah.
So I would think that would be on us.
Mm-mm. No, the city's
No.
paying for all of that.
Technically,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
The city has paid for it, and that's kind of
Okay.
how the parts of that project that pertain to the park have gone because of specific things that need to happen in the park with the city.
Okay.
So
Okay.
are you, may I ask, are you adding it to the agenda or?
Nope, I was gonna say, we'll come back. We won't add it to the agenda. Sharon will add it as a note to herself.
Mhm.
But I brought it up only because I talked with David earlier this week and he had asked about it. So if no one else sees anything to change on the agenda, I think I saw Pam's hand go up with fingers waving. Pam?
Yes, I do have a report on the O'Connor Fund.
Okay, all right. Then don't worry, I won't skip over it.
It'll be under B1.
All right. Anyone else see anything to add or update? Nope. All right. So need a motion to approve the agenda
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
and a second. I'll second. All in favor? Aye. All right, introduction of guests. I think it's Pam O'Connor.
I think I'm it. Kim O'Connor, joining you from my home, blocks west of City Hall in Kalamazoo.
Thank you, Pam. Are there any citizen comments on non-agenda items and correspondence?
No, there's no citizen comments at this time.
Thank you. And I see Pam.
Except for mine.
Yeah.
I'll try to make this short, but having sat through the majority of the National Trust for Historic Preservation Annual Conference last week, I again noted this year, as I noted last year, that a great majority, if not all of the sessions, were opened by what is, I think, commonly referred to as a land acknowledgement. And I called or talked, I don't remember what method of communication we had last week with Regina about whether or not it would be appropriate to bring it up. And she said, yeah, bring it up and we'll talk about it. Whether or not it is appropriate for the Preservation Commission to suggest that the City Commission implement the use of a land acknowledgement at the beginning of its public meetings and of its commissions and advisory boards. A land acknowledgement is simply that. It is an acknowledgement that whatever is happening at the time is taking place on land that was originally and historically owned and occupied by Native Americans. And it can be very simple. There are a number of cultural institutions in the United States now that have adopted that land acknowledgement practice, and a number of local and state governments who are also moving to do that as well. I think this is the right place to have this discussion because it involves historic preservation and history, particularly in this case. And there is no other city advisory board, to the best of my knowledge, that might have discussed this in the past. So I'd like to put that on the table for your conversation, either for tonight or for a future meeting.
Thank you, Pam. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, and I can loop back to it a little bit, and when I do the report on the KERPEC a little bit later, and kind of loop it in because they're connected in many ways. Did anybody want to talk about it now, or we can, like I said, I can loop it in with my report when I talk about KERPEC in a little bit. Does that sound good? If we
Yeah,
just,
that sounds great.
okay. All right. Thank you, Pam. All right. We are on to the finances.
Okay, well, obviously I didn't get my stuff over to Sharon in time. Okay, there's that. So I do apologize. But I don't know, can I share my screen? No? Oh, maybe not. Anyway, oh wait, no, yes I can. Share my screen. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so I gotta find it. I want this one. So this is the report that I had submitted to you guys back in July. Nothing's really changed. There were some reports that were given by Cheeseman.
Beth,
Thank you.
Mhm.
Beth Cheeseman. And in her report, I can find it. Yeah. So she has in here some things that were the historic preservation sales. And I believe those were the books, Pam. Okay.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, and so that was $3,000 that were made, or 3,079. And then why did it go into the red? Year-to-date revenue.
I see, that's what I don't understand about how this accounting works. I mean, I have no doubt that it's correct. I just have no doubt that it's correct.
Right.
But I just don't understand what they mean by percent received, and it just doesn't
Okay.
make sense to me.
So for the most part, we are balanced out at zero. So I will look more into what these numbers mean with Beth Cheeseman. But again, the budget that I put together back in July, I don't think nothing should change. This is what we are projecting for 2022. And I think we just need to have an agreement of, you know, if we want to move forward with this budget.
I think we approved the budget at the last meeting, didn't we?
No, we said we were going to do it because I didn't have it last meeting.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's here. Proposed HPC budget is under number 8A.
Oh, we approved it?
No, we didn't. It's for
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So I just need your approval to submit this for fiscal 2022.
Yeah, because they're working on the city budget right now. As
Mhm.
Christina put it, it's beginning to harden. So
Yeah. So we got to get it over there. So, I mean, I can't think of anything else that we are projecting for next year. Again, a lot of our projects and sales, we talked about, we were going to kind of wait until the new person gets on board to see, you know, what direction they would like to see the commission go in. But if anybody can think of anything else that maybe we might want to do or purchase or.
Not that I can think of for immediate.
Right.
Real
I mean,
short term.
it's always, you can amend it, but just to put out a budget to them, I think this will do.
I do have a question, if I may.
Yes.
With regard to historic preservation sales.
Yep.
I think that we have projected sales of significantly more than $200 for 2022 because we'll be selling the balance of the Kalamazoo lost and found inventory, either just, well, I don't think it's going to happen this year. I'll tell you more later, but in 2022, and that alone is going to be well beyond the $200 mark.
Right. So when I originally did it, that was a question I was inquiring about back in June and July. When were you going to get all the books off of our books? So I thought we had talked about you were going to have it all done by December 31st. And maybe I'm wrong.
well, the historic preservation, the proposed sales for 2022 are $2,000 in the budget
Why
that's
does
on
it
the
say
packet.
200?
No, it says 200. Because I thought that.
In what you have there, but in the document that Marcy gave me to put in the packet, it says 2,000 historic preservation sales.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
if we're not looking at the most recent iteration of the proposal, then perhaps we should, before you all make a decision.
Well, it's in the packet.
In what packet?
In our packet, it's item A. It's item
Oh,
A
yeah,
packet
page
under
6.
8A. Yeah.
Right. But, okay. So,
It's not in your pretty form though, because you did such a
Yeah.
great job with that form. I really like it, but
okay.
Okay, I see it now.
Yeah, so it does show, so page 6 of the packet, it does show as 2000.
Good.
So I guess then, Lene, would you want, I think you're in the Historic District Commission packet, Lene.
yep.
Oh.
That's why you're not
Lord,
finding
baby,
it.
that's why I lost it.
Got different people on the roll call.
Oh my God, well, hold on.
I can share it when we get to that. I
Okay,
can
all
share
right.
the budget report when we get to it.
Okay, well, hold on. You know, I don't know what I'm doing. Wait, hold on. How do I get this off? Oh, Lord. Hold on. How do you take this off?
Well,
Oh, stop
Yep,
sharing.
stop sharing.
Stop sharing.
you got it.
done. Okay,
Yeah.
well, sorry about that. So anyway, we'll wait for Sharon's portion and then we can discuss it then. So
Yep.
that's all I got.
Okay,
Thank you.
so so are we waiting to vote
Yep,
on?
let's
this?
wait for Sharon's
Well, no, we'll-
portion.
It's
when she
on.
does-
It's further down on the agenda. So when we get to it, I'll share
Right.
screen for that.
Okay,
Okay. All right, so the reserve fund is also listed on here. That's under D. Is there anything else that you wanted? Are you good, Lene, with financial?
yeah, I'm good for now.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Let's move to action and discussion, diversity and inclusion. I don't know if anyone else has.
Well, didn't Sharon just send a email for a meeting?
I had a meeting with Michelle Johnson, went really, really well. She's agreed to attend our next HPC meeting on December 8th. She'll be first on the agenda, so she doesn't have to sit through all of our stuff. We can just have a nice discussion with her. And she agreed, and we thought it would be a good idea for her to meet with me and Regina and you, Lene, if you're available. So I just sent her some dates. Regina said she has available. I flipped one off because it's not a day I'm available. And then we'll just see which one we can work out between now and the end of the month. So, because I'm not sure how we'll fit into what she's doing, but I think that's a good place for us to be, because the TRHT folks at the Community Foundation they're kind of working in a different venue than we are. You know, we're aiming toward getting some sort of physical representation that'll be visible to people in the city, and they're working on attitudes and processes. So it's kind of a different emphasis, I think. So I think that Michelle will probably be a really good party for us to work with. And she will be at our next meeting. As far as I know, I will keep reminding her.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, Sharon, how she responded to the conversation that the Preservation Commission is having?
Very enthusiastic. Just have to figure out how it fits and how we're going to collaborate.
Great.
And that we just don't know yet. But she's got all sorts of great information. I found a picture for her of I didn't even know I had it, but it's a picture of the front of Mr. President's, which we were looking for all during the Hidden Kalamazoo tour, never found one. But I found a picture with a Budweiser team of Clydesdales in front of it from about the mid 1930s.
Wow.
So I guess saving all these things has actually worked out in the long run.
All right. So if no one has anything else, I can report on the KERPEC. I get jumbled up if I say the whole thing. So right now, the RFP is going to be kind of redone along with the tribe for the landscaping, and that's partially coming from their desire to be in part included in the planting process. So that would, change costs and all the rest. So they're working, the tribe and the city are working together on that. And as we kind of look into the new year, kind of regrouping to try and figure out if there is still any interest in the tribe in having physical corner markers, if that's something that they're still interested in doing, because I mean, at this point, once the pandemic hit and everything, kind of was slowed, I think just people kind of focused on what was the most immediate necessity. So now that we're kind of shifting into, not that we're by any means through anything, but as we're shifting towards the new year, we're gonna kind of all touch base again and check in. And then at this point, the work and the landscaping and to have that completed along with the signs would be spring of next year. So that's the hope right now. And yeah, I don't know, we're kind of between things. I'm working with Lakota on updating the KPL page and plugging along. So next is historic preservation programs. Grant making, which has a report.
Yes, grant making does have a report. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just to update you, we do have revised ordinance language, which needs to be on the city commission agenda for recommended approval before we can really do a lot else. And I was checking to see if Sharon has made any progress on that.
No. Other than what it's because the new commission was just sworn in Monday, and I told Clyde that I would contact him the week after the new commission was sworn in. So next week is when it's on my agenda to see what we can do about getting it on their agenda.
Will it go on as Clyde's request or the Preservation Commission's
I
request?
do not know. I just don't know. It seems like it would be ours, but I don't know. It depends on whether he has some other small ordinance changes that are going through and we can just put them all together. I just don't know, but I will keep you in the loop about what's happening.
Okay. So then once that happens, the revised ordinance language really needs to be approved by the city commission. And then after that, the KHPC will need to approve an amount, and then the proposal for a gift to Community Homeworks, which has been discussed in the past. And the coordinator at that time will then need to make a transfer of funds between the O'Connor Fund and Community Homeworks. Once that happens, or in the interim between now and when that happens, I will reconvene the gifts and grants group to work on scoring and an introduction of the grants program to the community and how to develop those. And then we will wait until after Sharon and Regina have a future meeting with the cultural historic landscape folks, Michelle, and others, and make a decision based on the outcome of that discussion or that discussion and other discussions that follow it. And if you want me to send this to you, Sharon, for the notes, I'm happy to do that.
Please, that would be wonderful.
Okay. Any questions from anyone? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Is it still true? Oh, how no report? I just want to check.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And
I do have a question about that. Is there any reason for it to stay on the agenda since we have kind of officially said we're done?
I thought we'd officially said that we're putting it on hold. It's just suspended until we can start exploring having physical classes again.
Okay,
All right, and Sharon, no report for survey?
I'm working on a plan that will extend probably until the fall of 2023 to complete the survey. There's a lot of moving pieces with that, and I will have a report for you next month.
All right. Kyle, no report, and you're good? Okay. Preservation Month, I do not have a report.
Except everybody keep your eye out for good projects.
That's
So
true.
we can have some great nominations this coming year of projects. We've got a lot, got some good stuff happening in the city, and I especially want to look for outside the districts. Look for someone just in the neighborhood that's doing a great job with the building or a house, that kind of thing. So
Thank you,
Yeah.
Sharon. Designation and sites. I guess technically right now, I know it says no report. It would be the Pam's work on City Hall at this point would fall a little bit under that. But
I can tell you a little bit about it if you're interested.
sure.
Well, I can tell you that the research is 99.5% done. And the writing will start soon. And I know that it will need to be in some sort of draft form pretty soon. Like, let's see, according to Sharon, probably the 1st of December or something like that for it to be on next month's agenda. Is that right?
that'd be good. Yeah. Yeah, it should be the meeting's on the 8th. So I should have it by the 1st. So yeah, you're right.
I will work and do my best to get it to you. That's my goal.
All right. Thank you, Pam. Sustainability.
No report.
Okay.
Well, except that,
I was gonna say there is one note that says.
there's one small note, and that is that because several months ago, the HPC approved sending copies of Kalamazoo Lost and Found to the new city commissioners. I had Regina sign a note to the commissioners, and those are ready to be sent over to City Hall. If it had been an in-person swearing in, I would have had them over there by the time the meeting took place last Monday, but it was not, it was virtual. So I'm just going to deliver them over to the city manager's office where all the commissioners have a mailbox.
Pam?
And you are taking those from the inventory that you have in your office. Is that right, Sharon?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. I also gave one to our neighborhood planner who is leaving for the same similar position in Fort Wayne, except at a higher salary, and he's the head of the neighborhood planning department. So I said, don't forget Kalamazoo, and gave him a copy.
Great. And I do have a report for the end project.
Well, that would be this. So yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I was just waiting for the go ahead from the chair. So the digitization part of the project in a partnership with Kalamazoo Public Library, we thought was done last month, but then Keith Howard, who is in charge of the digitization, said, nope, he wanted to redo a couple of things. And he sent me a note today that said he thought he was gonna finish it today. So I'm going to assume that he did because he normally does what he says he's gonna do. Lynn and I are just about done drafting text for, I guess for lack of a better term, what we're calling the landing page for the entire digitization project of all 3 books. Lynn is doing some edits to that text. We went through all 3 books to look at things that had been demolished, lost to fire, or had major alterations in the interim between today and the time that particular publication went out into the public. And so we're very close. I still think we can get finished with that part before the end of the year, which will meet the goals that you all approved earlier in the year. There are two things, however, that are holding us back. Number one, we haven't talked about the promotion of that project, but I had a great idea yesterday. I ran into Ryan Weber, who is the director of KPL, at lunch, and he said, "How's it going?" And I said, "It's great, except we haven't started to talk about promotion yet." And he said, well, wouldn't this dovetail very nicely with our upcoming anniversary in 2022? And I thought, well, yeah, it probably would. So I'm pushing Keith Howard, who is our representative at the library, to start talking about that, even though he doesn't have all the things that we agreed to send him quite yet. They'll be there soon. And I'll keep you posted as things move ahead. But I think it would be great if it could be part of the anniversary celebration to announce its availability, and we'll go from there. Like I said, I'll keep you posted. Number two, Gloria Tiller, who has agreed to take the remaining inventory of Kalamazoo Lost and Found, doesn't have her storage building constructed yet. And she told me on I think Thursday last week that 6 weeks ago she was 15th on the list with her contractors, and now she is 5th on the list for her contractors. And we're all keeping our fingers crossed and hoping that they can at least put the concrete down before the ground freezes. And there may be a very good chance that that could happen. But we don't know for sure what 5th on the list means, because we don't know how big the projects are that are going to come before Kazoo Books. So if it happens, that's great, and we can transfer the books and be paid for the books. If it doesn't, we'll have to wait and extend that part of the project into 2022. And I let the Records Center know that that was the situation. And there's no concern on their part about doing it a little bit later than originally planned. So a lot of this stuff is pandemic driven, and I'm sorry, but I can say if we don't meet our goal of getting it all done before the end of the year, it's not my fault. It's the pandemic's fault. So I'll keep my fingers crossed, and we'll go from there. And as I said, I'll keep you informed.
So because she can't take the inventory right this second, or potentially by the end of the year, that stays on our books until she takes?
It does, because she won't
Okay.
pay us for the books until she receives the books.
Right. So, okay. So that's where that 2,000 came. That's why she put it back on there. Because I had taken it off because we had projected it to be done by the end of the year.
Yes, we
So that's
have.
why, yeah. So that's why Cheeseman put it back on. Okay, I got it.
Okay,
Yep.
thanks.
Thank you, Pam. I'm sure that Gloria is frustrated, but I'm glad that it's not a big problem for the Records Center.
Yeah.
That's that's good. Did anybody else have any questions for Pam? No? All righty. Operations is next, which is me. I met with Christina and we had a good meeting. She kind of gave me some updates on the coordinator search. They got quite a few candidates and they're working through them now. I asked her if she needed any support from HPC during the process, and she said none as of now, but she would let us know if that changed. And she also repeated that they're, still committed to that overlap with Sharon. So that is, I think, all but confirmed. And she just reiterated how important it was because of Sharon's super special skills. So you got to put that in the note. She also brought up getting us an admin for our committee. So somebody who would be taking notes for us and putting the packets together. We've had one on and off in the past, but I had just started doing the notes in the interim because we no longer had one, and it was me and Sharon. So I don't know when that'll happen, but she said she was going to look into it for us. So either it'll help Sharon or benefit Sharon's predecessor, or
Successor.
I said it wrong. Thank you. I was like, this is not. She also mentioned that, so, meetings are going to be virtual through the end of the year. They're looking at options as they start thinking about in-person meetings again, and the possibility of still being able to have a virtual portion of the meeting where we would still show up like this, because they were noticing a real big uptick in engagement with people who were able to, just view from home, or, just the options that it opened up for people. They were kind of heartened by it. So it might be that the community room that we meet in normally could get set up with some extra features like the city commission room has already. So we'll see. They'll have to, of course, put money into running new wires and all the rest, but that might happen. She said that, as we start to work with the new person, if we needed to meet more or anything like that, then we can surely do that. She also said that she was excited that KHPC has DEI related initiatives as part of our priority list, and just was saying, as was put into Sharon's job description, the importance of diversity and equity for the city runs through every staffer and then related volunteer commission. And yeah, I think that was basically it. We talked a lot about that and just about planning stuff in general, and told her to keep me posted if they decide to throw a giant retirement party for Sharon.
There's planning going on.
Okay.
It partly involves, crawl space.
Oh, Dan?
Yeah. And the space they have at the church. So more on that later.
So that is basically my recap. If anybody had any questions, I'd happily answer them. And if not, we can move to old and new business and look at the 2022 proposed budget, item A.
There we go. There it is. You guys can see it?
Yep.
That should be what's in your packet. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Although I had couple questions. What am I doing? Because some of her numbers were a little different than what we had projected, such as, wait, let me follow this with my finger. So she has historic preservation fundraising. She has $0. Are we not projecting that we want to?
Well, that was 2021 year to date, and then the projection. We had projected last year when we put together our budget, we had not projected much fundraising.
Right. So okay. So the one that I put together, I had projected $1,000. I had projected $1,000 for the historic preservation fundraising, because I think we talked about we might have some kind of fundraising next year, you know, barring the pandemic. Then she has for the preservation sales. Okay, we already talked about that. And then what else did she have? Operating, education and training. I had projected education and training. I had projected $600, and I calculated that. What did we say? $70 a piece or something, times 7 people. And that what you said?
I think Sharon gave you some past numbers, and then we talked about it at a meeting that you kind of broke it down based on all of full committee members.
Right. So that I projected 600 for education and training. He only projected 2. And then let's see. There we go. And then for outside contractual services. Well, I said 5,000. She said 4,750. We won't spit over that. Working capital. Working capital, she's got 6,000. I said 4. Well, but you know what? You could leave it at the 6, because if you get the secretary, or so, you'd have to pay that person, right?
No, she's,
No,
it's usually the secretaries, if they're at our meetings, they're either paid in comp time or they're paid directly as part of their job.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
it doesn't come out of our budget.
Okay. Well, I had projected 6,000. No, I had projected. What did I project?
4,000?
6,000, and
Yeah.
she projects 4,000. So I mean, we can go at the 4,000 if that's what.
You're talking
you
about,
know,
which one are you talking about now?
working capital.
Working capital. Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm. She doesn't have private donations on there.
Well, that's a category. That's not necessarily a budget item.
Okay.
Okay, Fund 1, private donation, purpose trust and donations. That's a budget, that's a category, not a budget item.
Okay.
So,
and I think that was it. Oh, membership and dues, she had 500, I had 1,000. Yeah, I had 1,000 for membership and dues, and 600 I had for education and training. So the rest of it, I mean, we can split hairs about it. It's not a big deal, but specifically the education and training and the membership dues, so everybody can have an opportunity to join different things and go to different conferences. But, you know, I don't want to be backed up with that. So,
well, I can submit these changes to her, because I think if I do it early next week, it should make it in plenty of time for the budget.
Okay.
So, and keep in mind that even if it stays exactly the way it is,
right,
because we are self-funded, we're super flexible. If it just gets into a large amount of money, then we want to kind of avoid doing that, because it's a pain in the butt.
Right.
May I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
How did you come up with your 4,750 line item amount for outside contractual services?
I have no idea. I didn't come up with it. Marcy did.
I had 5,000.
Yeah.
And let me see, why did I say 5,000? What are we talking about?
Outside contractual services.
Yeah. I think I had put it on there because we were talking about contracting for the
The Lost and Found End project?
that and downloading those pictures. We thought maybe we'd have to pay for that, you know, to go to the library.
Well, we did, and we paid Peter Brakeman for work on that, which would be outside contractual, although some, I think.
But that was in 2021, so part of
Right.
that was probably based on the money we paid him in 2021 for that work.
Okay.
Right, but there will be, and I can't tell you what, but there will be a significant amount of money that I'll be invoicing the commission for. It could be something in that range for managing the end project. I can't, let's
Okay.
see, I don't know if I can tell you how many hours I've got into it. Hang on, I might be able to give you an idea.
But in general, Pam, what you're suggesting is that we may be low on the contractual line.
Well, and I don't know, let me check with that, check on that for just
Okay.
a minute if you'll give me a sec.
Mhm.
Sorry, I didn't take the time to do that earlier.
Because what we could do is just bump it up to 10,000, and if we're off
Well,
$100 or so.
I'm not sure you need to, just hang on
Oh.
a minute. No, it looks, at least at this point, like it'll be under that significantly.
Okay.
So we're good.
Okay. Well, just know that if we, okay, so yeah, I may have already put in Brakeman's funds from 21, and we won't have to pay it in so much in 22. But past the downloading the pictures for the library, are there any other projects you can think of that will be needing
I
to
would,
contract someone out?
well, I would suggest that you leave it as is because there might be an opportunity for Peter to help us with the promotion of the digitization project.
Right.
And I'd like
Okay.
to be able, with your permission, with the Preservation Commission's permission, to be able to, you know, tap his expertise and perhaps, you know, work with the KPL on that and make maybe a little bit more of a splash than we might otherwise if the funding is available to do that.
Okay. Well, you know, 4750, 5,000. We're not gonna split hairs over $300, but if in fact we come up with a new project for next year that exceeds that, then maybe we just need to propose it for next year for 2023 for pay. You know what I'm saying? So, but these are things we know we want to do for right now, and 5,000 is, I thought, was pretty good. So.
And I certainly would bring it to you if we decide that it would be helpful to have Peter's engagement in that.
Okay. Okay. So that was all, Sharon.
Okay.
For, you know, if you can ask her if those changes could be made.
Yep.
That would be awesome.
So I mean, we can still vote on an as amended.
Yep, I've got it in the notes, so.
Yeah, okay. So does everyone's clear on the parts of the budget to be updated based on Lene's projections from the screen share from earlier? Is there any discussion or questions about what is in here?
No questions. Just thanks again to Lene for taking the lead on this.
Thank you. Thanks, Sharon, for getting a new getting with Cheeseman and give us a budget to work with.
Yeah.
Sharon.
All right, so then we can vote on the KHPC 2022 budget as amended with the notes that Sharon's going to submit to Beth Marcy. Does anybody want to be the first vote?
I'll move to approve the budget.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you, Fred. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next up, after Sharon saves things, is Sharon, because it's the Section 106 quarterly report from October. So Sharon, we will do it whenever you are ready.
Any questions anybody has about this, or we have a bigger program staff. They're the ones that handle all the federal money that comes in to our sub grantees, which are people like Community Homeworks, Habitat for Humanity, Kalamazoo Neighborhood Housing Services, etc. These are all the reviews that we've done in this last quarter. I should have gotten it to you last month, but I didn't. So these are July, August, and September projects. We are probably half again as many projects have been reviewed and approved than we did last year. So this new team is really clicking together well and getting the money flowing out to the people that need it. So
I have a question,
Sure.
Sharon, if I may,
mhm.
after Fred.
Want me to
Yeah,
go
go
first?
ahead. Go ahead, Fred.
I'd like to look at item 17 and have understand it better. It's in West Douglas and Stewart neighborhood, 501 Douglas.
This is yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
Well, this is a multi-million-dollar grant that the city of Kalamazoo received from the federal government it's a HUD grant, lead-based paint hazard something program. But anyway, and we're taking applications from qualified families from all over the city. This is people with children under the age of 6 in a house that they suspect has lead paint in it. And the first thing they do is they go in with and they do a complete lead paint hazard analysis. They test all the surfaces, all the rooms, and everything else. And if there is lead paint, then modifications are recommended and will be paid for by the program. The less money they spend, the less they have to change. So if they are spending over $25,000, they need to be more thorough about what they're changing than if they're only spending $5,000. So the report says what needs to be done. And the way the process works for me is they'll get a family that has a house. We've already, I think in the last 3 or 4 years, we've approved maybe 4 houses in the historic districts, over on Osborne, over on Oak Street, and couple more, one on, was it Vine? No, Forest. So the most common exterior change that you will see in the historic district is that quite often there's no way to get around replacing the windows. But the windows that are used in the historic district are the wooden windows. They're not we don't use vinyl. They'll use vinyl outside the historic district, but in the district, they'll go with the wood windows. And then with the storms on top of them, it's pretty rare that you can actually see much of a difference. If there's a decorative window, like say one that has leaded glass in the upper sash or something like that, then what they will usually do with that is rather than replace it, they will just make it into a fixed window, because you get a lead paint hazard when you have a friction surface, when the surfaces that are painted rub against each other and make a dust. So if you've got a fancy leaded glass window, like we had at our old house, that faces onto the porch, you just screw the top one in place and then it's no longer a hazard. Sometimes the lower sash will be replaced with a new window or a replica, so that they can still have an operable window, but the leaded part will not be removed. So that's usually what you see in the historic district. They do, they tend to paint and abate that way rather than trying to put on vinyl siding, which is the preferred course. I kind of think of it as kicking the can down the road, because the lead paint is still there. It's just covered up by vinyl siding, which then in about 20 years will start shedding cadmium into the soil. So anyway, so that's what you probably won't really see any visual difference other than people working on the house when they do the windows. The rest of the work will be inside, and they try to on the inside they work with abatement by switching out the doors, which is really sad. and getting rid of any painted surfaces that have lead on. They quite often will just take whatever it is apart and put new in. So the trim will come out and they'll put new inexpensive trim in instead, that kind of thing. Sadly, there's not much, because it is considered a hazard. There's very little that we can do to say, hey, why don't you just take those down to Heritage Company and sell them? Usually they just head right into the waste stream.
If a person wants, can somebody still apply for this?
Yes,
This
but they have,
$9
you have,
lead-based paint?
you have to have I would contact Kalamazoo Neighborhood Housing Services, and then they have all the information about it. To qualify, you need to either have a pregnant woman or children under the age of 6 living in the house. And it could be a grandparent that actually has custody of grandchildren. So it's not really the age of the parents, it's the age of the children, because it's most hazardous for children under 6 to be exposed to lead paint. So yeah, the program is open. As far as I know, they're still looking for people. They've had folks out doing door hangers in some of the older neighborhoods, just saying, do you eligible? Are you interested? And there's, they have to own the house, or they have to be in the process of buying it. Although I think in some cases we can do it for a landlord, but not if they've already been charged with maintaining an unsafe house. So that starts getting very complex very quickly.
So the Kalamazoo Neighborhood Services is who they would
Kalamazoo Neighborhood Housing Services. 1219.
online.
Yep. Check online. They'll have the number. Ask for the lead program, and they'll be able to, do an intake and see. I think they start with like a phone interview to see if they're eligible, and then they go on to more paperwork and then the actual testing and everything else. So.
Okay. Because we had that come up at our meeting last night, and somebody was asking about it. They put the flyers around our neighborhood in Stewart on that, and I just noticed this between then and now. Right next to he's probably a couple houses to the north of that 501 on the other side of the street on the even address there. Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Pam, go ahead.
Sharon, if you can scroll to the top of your report to item 1, there's a comment there that says it's a Schedule C project.
That's because you noticed that the work is interior, ceiling and plumbing repairs, and we're not necessarily required to review those if there's not going to be any change. Just putting in a new pipe or a new faucet, we don't have any right to review it. If you're tearing out the entire bathroom and throwing away all the old stuff, we might want to talk to you. But Schedule C means that that they're exempt. We don't have to review it, but we're doing it just in an abundance of caution to be sure that we have actually covered all the bases, and that when HUD comes through to review what we've been doing with the money, that they will find that we have been very thorough about reviewing everything.
I think that's great.
It is.
I'm glad to see it as a part of your report.
Yep. I mean, these are, and the only ones that, as you can see, the larger paragraphs are when there's going to be substantial work done that's going to affect the outside and that kind of thing. And it's in a potential study area. And this is where the importance of our survey comes in, because if we didn't know where the potential districts were, each time we got a request like this that was not a Schedule C, we would have to go out and take a look at the neighborhood, and it'd be like an afternoon's worth of work. And because we have the survey, I can just look it up on a list and say, maybe it is. Every so often I need to go out and take a look and see what, whether we need to, whether anything has changed since the survey was done. But this is where the survey really makes us nimble and flexible as a city in being able to use federal funds. So,
I totally agree.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sharon, was there anything else for section 106, or
not
does
unless,
anybody have
not
any
unless you
questions?
guys,
Yeah.
unless somebody else has questions. Nope.
All right, if there's no more questions, then actually, Sharon, do you want to put up item C while you've got the screen share going?
Yeah.
The soap sample.
This went like wildfire with, this came from the NAPC page. They asked, you know, this guy put it up from LaGrange, Kentucky. And he said, this is what we've done because it's kind of like a single page that pretty much anybody can comprehend with a little bit of explanation. And I was thinking of rearranging our work plan to kind of fit this, maybe add our list of sites we're concerned about on the back, because this is literally just one side, and just kind of maybe use a format like this just to make it more understandable to people and make a great handout for folks. I mean, our list is good, but I think this is way more comprehensible.
I'm curious as to how many other projects like this you have on your agenda for the next 6 weeks.
Oh, this is one of the things. No. This is one of the things that I think would be a great project for the new person, because it will make them become familiar with what's on the work plan. If they're rearranging it, you know, and playing with it, then that's going to be I think kind of an orientation for the new person. So
It looks great, and it's very, very easy to see the, you know, the examples. And yeah, well, first of all, the color hit me and I went, oh, we've never done anything like that before. What is this soap thing?
Strategy on the
TV.
page.
Color
it's great.
TV.
Yeah.
I think this is great. I mean, I think that we always struggle with, preservation organizations struggle with letting the public know all the things that we do. It's not just, I don't know, the one, I think everyone thinks that we just like old buildings or house museums, maybe. It is, but obviously we know there's so much more than that. So I love this idea. Just have a simple one pager that this is what we do. This is what we're about.
Yeah.
I could almost see it as a trifold pamphlet, which you open it up all the way, you get this in the center, and then you'd get the other, you know, the other part, something like that. So yeah, when I saw this, I said, yeah, this is really good. I like this a lot. So we will set that aside as something for the new person to consider as a project, because if the new person starts in any way the same as I did, and I'd already been serving on the commission for 5 years before I got the job, 5 or 6 years. And so I kind of knew how the Historic District Commission went. But at the very beginning, because you're not integrated into everything, there's almost, I wouldn't say it's dead space, but it's a little bit of spare time that you have at the very beginning that I think to be used for familiarizing themselves with the processes is going to be very useful. I've been putting together process sheets. You know, this is how I do this. It's not the way you have to do it necessarily, but this is what the outcome needs to be. These are where the files are, all that kind of thing. And that I've worked through. I think I still need to do one about how to do the preservation awards. So, and I put together a master calendar. These are when things need to be done at certain parts of the year, certain times of the year, that kind of thing, so that they'll at least have, you know, when deadlines are, when the quarterly reports are due, the semi-annual reports are due to SHPO about the 106 projects, where the quarterly reports need to go on the HPC agenda, all that kind of stuff. So they'll have something to a starting point, even though I'm sure that some of it will change under someone else. So yeah, I just thought you'd like to see this, and this would be a really worthwhile something to consider.
Definitely. I have it down as a note in my notes to make sure that we come back to this in the new year, I guess, because that'll be when the new things start.
Doesn't this harken back to Lene's saying that like we need a page? Like
I had the same thought. This is like the old school. Here's my one web page for all of. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I think that the color thing is, my brain is still in the, you only print color if you have an extra amount in your budget. You keep printing in black and white, you know, and like, no, we can do color now. We're good. So.
And in reality, not a lot of it's going to be printed. It's going to be seen. It's going to be seen on a website.
Correct.
Hopefully.
I agree. This is awesome. I like it. This is exactly what I was talking about.
And if I may add, there might be some wisdom there. I mean, there might be things there that the Preservation Commission hasn't thought about or is involved in that might be worthwhile considering.
Definitely.
Well, like for example, on the left here, it says preserve and enforce. Well, that's for the Historic District Commission. So we've got a separate, we've got a separate commission that does that. So our layout is probably going to be different, but the other four, we'll take our own topics and stick them in there, and yeah.
But
Yeah, I think I think I talked about at the last meeting about being transparent and presenting this information to the community, because they don't know what we do. But this is exactly what I was talking about. Excellent.
And under that gray area, preserve and enforce, that could be a place where it makes clear that the Preservation Commission is the lead on designation, which is part of preserving, right? So yeah, details for later, but
yeah, they've got that under inspire, educate, and promote, designate local historic landmarks and properties. So the same kind of thing. It should be kind of fun. I mean, there's a part of me that just wants to dive in and take a couple days and do this, but I've got so many other things on my list that only I can do. I think it'll be better to share it. By the way, I want to mention that we got over 20 applications. Christina did the first sift and got it down to 11. I went through those 11 and got it down to 4 or 5. We had a little bit of a discussion. We got it down to 4 very strong applicants, and I mean very strong. So interviews will be next Tuesday, and I'm not sure how quickly offers will be made or accepted, but I would say by our next meeting, we would probably at least know who it is, possibly be able to include them in the meeting, especially since we're still remote. None of them are in Kalamazoo, so not physically located in Kalamazoo. So if we get good we have good people, we'll be able to invite them to the meeting virtually for our next meeting. I'm not promising, but could happen.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah.
do these folks all have experience?
Yes.
Great.
An astonishing level in some cases. There's at least one that has experience, substantial experience on the national, state, and local level.
That's great.
So we've got really, really good people from as far away as Palm Springs in Florida. That's that Palm Beach in Florida.
I was going to say Palm Springs,
Kansas,
California.
Kansas. Yeah, we've got people. Mostly they're from Michigan and the Midwest, but just really, really good candidates, and I'm looking forward to,
Why would you want to leave Florida?
Because they have giant creatures that live and try to get into your house all the time.
Yeah, there's alligators and humidity. I can't.
Yep.
All right.
Crowded roads.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fires with not enough firefighters. Collapsing buildings.
Oh, geez.
and I suspect the person that applied from Palm Beach just wants to get out of town because they're going to be flooded in the next 50 years.
We did have quite a wealth of people with archaeological backgrounds.
That's good too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I'm very enthusiastic, and we'll have more news for you probably just after Thanksgiving, if not sooner.
That's great. All right, on to approval of meeting notes from October 14th. Did anyone see anything to update or fix or anything? Thinking at Kyle, because he always has.
Between Kyle and all of
I
the
don't.
grammar and punctuation suggestions I get from Word, I don't really have to remember anything anymore.
I just had a clarification question. 7A, 1A looks like. Regina, you said the band is doing no meetings at all, or is it just no in-person meeting?
Oh, good question. No in-person meetings.
Okay, so I just want to add that detail.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Good catch.
I probably auto-corrected that in my head when I read it.
I wish I could get my brain to do that.
It's not helpful all the time, though. If there's nothing else, then just a motion to approve the meeting notes as amended.
I move to approve the notes as amended.
All right, is there a
I
second?
second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Okay, I didn't get it down who made and who seconded.
I
I
have,
made the motion, I think.
yeah, it
Fred
was
did?
Fred first and then Renee.
Okay. Okay.
All right, on to coordinators report.
Okay, what do we got? Okay, I just wanted to put pretty pictures up, you know, just added those to the list. We're still way down. I mean, I remember 4 years ago when the HTC was doing well over 100, and 8 years ago we were doing over 200 or 300 reviews a year, and you can see how low we are now. Partly it's the economic downturn, and it's partly because I think people just aren't working on their houses as much as they were when we still had the tax credit, among other things. So, yeah, but you can see that the 106 reviews, last year we had 49 up till this date. This year we've had 150. So we're really pumping through that federal money.
Sharon, when you say economic downturn, I mean, economically, I think our economy is up rather than down right now. Are you
Right.
talking specifically about pandemic related stuff?
No, I'm talking about since like 2008, 2010, 2012, when people stopped investing as much in their, in the houses and the buildings. And they weren't doing big projects. They were doing smaller projects, mostly stuff that's, you know, it's just, it's been down. Even our building permit applications were down. We're beginning to surge again now, but I think that the historic district reviews are probably going to follow that rather than lead it.
So, and you don't think that's pandemic related?
Well, part of it is, yeah. Yeah, the last year and a half. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I did want to mention too that there's a building in the historic district that is that modern blonde bank building right next to Memories Bridal that has a drive-through that is literally probably going to start work within the next couple of months. It'll be apartments up above. The drive-through will still be there, but because of what's happened at the back with the Haymarket Plaza, it probably won't be as effective a drive-through as it might have been a few years ago. And they are looking for a tenant for a business for the ground floor. So that building is going to be occupied and actively used. It's in the historic district, but it is not eligible for the tax credit because it is a building that is not a contributing resource in the district. And either way, the work they're going to do isn't going to change the outside at all.
Is that the Weber building? Is that the
No,
28
across the
East?
street,
Which
across the
one?
street, next to Memories. And
But it's not on this list. Is that what you're saying?
oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Which one
It's
is it?
let me see. The Charter One Bank, number 2.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yep, the project's moving forward. Nothing has started to happen yet on the Coney Island, but I believe that they are completely done with site plan review and they're ready to get started as soon as they can get the contractors to do the work.
Oh.
So. Yep. Yep, looking good.
All right, were there any questions for Sharon? No, all right. Thank you, Sharon. Next is citizen comments on non-agenda items.
No citizens comments as of this time.
Thank you. See Pam. Go ahead.
I've got
Pam.
3. Has the commission had any applications for new members at all?
No, it's gone out, I've got another round going out Tuesday to specific organizations and neighborhood organizations. And the folks up, Amanda and Neil, we're putting out a larger spread that'll go to the whole community on the city website. So we've had a call, but nothing, we haven't gotten any applications yet. Although for the Historic District Commission, which is it has lost one person, we have an architect who is interested, even though we're only required to have one architect, there's no harm in having 2. And this gives us this, if he decides to do it, that might give us an opportunity to break him in, because the current architect that we have is going to be term limited fairly soon.
I'm not sure I understand what you just said. That was an applicant for the district commission.
Correct. We don't have any applicants for the Preservation Commission yet.
Right, but how does what you just said affect the Preservation Commission?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. Oh, okay.
It doesn't. It's just that we have one opening on the HDC and we have 2 openings on the HPC.
Okay.
So,
Number 2 of 3 is since the KHPC is down a couple of members and your former chair is gone, is there a need to reallocate leadership responsibilities in terms of a chair? Because you don't have a chair?
the
It's
HPC?
I missed it.
Yeah,
Yes.
Regina's the chair,
I'm the
How
chair.
did she become the chair?
They voted for me.
the July meeting.
I'm so sorry. I missed it. I missed it. I'm sorry. Okay.
Well,
I'm glad.
there was the sound of a rail train coming, the railroading was going on there. So yeah, it's like
And Kyle's the vice.
Yeah,
right?
Kyle's vice chair.
Kyle's the vice chair. Yeah.
Glad to know that.
No,
Thank
we're
you.
good.
Yeah, you are good. You're great. And my last just comment is, I know that Sharon invited you all to the First
Oh, yes.
Baptist anniversary celebration coming up on Sunday. Is it 1:30, Sharon? 1
No,
o'clock?
noon is what's on the invitation.
Noon. I actually never received the actual invitation.
Yeah, no, because he mailed it to me and it just got here a few days ago.
Okay, would you send it to me? I'll be introducing Sharon, and it would be great if you all could come, even for a little bit of the time, because I know it would mean a lot to both the congregation and to KNAC, who is the new owner of the building. So, and it really is a very, very interesting building. Very interesting building if you've never been inside. That's all I had, and thank you.
I'm really bummed we had family pictures at that time on Sunday. And
Are you really?
yeah,
Well, that's fun though.
I know, but I want to go inside the building.
Oh, we can arrange that anytime. You just
Yeah,
let me know.
I think we could get you in probably.
Okay.
I think I saved all the handouts from when they were giving tours about what to do with it way back a few years ago now. Probably dig them out of the basement.
Yeah.
They're setting an example, because I was working the precinct at Bethany Christian Reformed Church down on South Burdick, almost across from the Salvation Army. And they're beginning to try to do the same thing themselves and get more active uses in their vacant spaces. So nice.
I'm sure that they are not alone, because the trend, the decreasing membership trend in all of the churches is continuing.
Yep.
All right. Are there any commissioner comments?
I just wanted to mention, unfortunately, for the next meeting, I'm going to be splitting my week between New York and Detroit, and I'm going to try my best to be here, but I don't know if I'm going to be on a plane or what. It's going to be a really hard week, so I'll let you all know. But if I cannot make it, I will be quite sad, because I wanted to hear Michelle Johnson. So
It's okay. We'll we'll also get you looped in to
Okay,
that.
I
You
would- I would
gotta,
really appreciate it.
gotta take care of yourself too.
Thanks.
All
And
right.
attending a meeting on your phone is not the same.
Especially not on like
hard.
an airport or something. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. That won't go well.
All right, if everyone else is good,
Just,
Kyle?
I mean, we talked about fundraising. What did we ever decide on the memorial bricks? Is that gonna be a thing?
You mean
So
the,
I thought we had talked about, we were gonna wait on all of that. We brought up good suggestions and ideas, but we were gonna try to wait till the coordinator, the new court, because maybe they don't wanna do that, I don't know.
Okay.
But we were charged with coming up with ideas so that when that person comes, we would, put it out there so that they could see if that's something we could do. And I think that was one of the reasons why I had such a high fundraiser number on that budget, because it was stuff like that. Yeah, the bricks that we talked about.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think we're all kind of on hiatus until this coordinator gets on, so we can, because you don't want to have to go against that person. And they're like, no, we don't want that. Oh, sorry.
well, I don't want to set up a whole new process when, I would rather have that person weigh in and be part of the creation of a new project so that they can, understand what the issues are and work with it and make it work for their system. So I'm sure we're going to have some great ideas. We may even get some ideas from them of things that we haven't thought of. So
Yeah.
it's like this soap thing,
All right. Are there any other commissioner comments? No? Okay. Then I just need someone to move to adjourn.
So moved.
1 second.
All right. I think with adjournment, we only need
Oh,
one
sorry.
motion. But I'm going to write down that you
Thanksgiving to
seconded
everyone.
I always forget
Happy
that.
Thanksgiving
Pretty-
to everyone. Have a good holiday.
Everybody have a good one.
Thank you, Lene.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.